What up, fam? This is Dr. De Luna. You are listening to Drop It Like It's Doc podcast. We're going to be dropping truth bombs today on birth control. And I apologize in advance that I'm 1,000,000% going to offend you, but you got to listen to it. So listen up. All right, cutie patootie. So if you're like me or were like me when you were younger and you went to the doctor, you were probably put on birth control. And this might have been because you were ready to have sex and you thought it was the cool thing to do. My really good friend went on birth control when we were 15 and I thought it was the cool thing to do. I wasn't even having sex yet, but I demanded that I was put on birth control. And what did my sweet mama do? First of all, she wasn't happy with me. I don't blame her, but she asked the doctor. I remember sitting in that room. I remember where I was in upstate New York, my mother asking the doctor, are there any long-term side effects? Is there any way that this could impact her hormones, her fertility, anything in the future? And the doctor goes, oh no, oh no. Why the fuck did she say, oh no? Because she lied. She lied to me. She lied to us. We've all been lied to. So if you are on hormonal birth control, first and foremost, know that I was on it for a very long time. I work with a lot of individuals that are on it, and that is so okay if you are making the conscious choice, because in medicine, there is something called informed consent, in which it is your legal right to know the benefits and the possible detriments of using any medicinal therapy. Hormonal birth control, whether you are taking orally, whether you're getting a shot of it, whether you're getting something implanted into your body, or having an IUD sitting inside of your cervix that has hormones in it, the impacts are very similar in that those hormones don't just stay locally where they are. If anyone told you that that is true, that is complete BS. The hormones circulate. They go everywhere in the body. And I'm even hesitant to say the word hormones because these chemicals in the body, they may structurally look similar to hormones, but they are not. They are not bioidentical. They are synthetic, meaning that they are chemicals. They've been created in a lab. And while they may work similar to your endogenous hormones that your own beautiful divine body makes, it is quite different. So first and foremost, know that if your doctor told you that birth control is going to regulate your period, that is so fucking false. And the reason why that is so false is because you are not still cycling while you're on birth control. Because the main way that this pill works, yes, some people say it mimics that you're pregnant. Not quite. It doesn't necessarily mimic that you're pregnant. What it does is it truly turns off the communication between your brain and your ovaries. Your brain is always talking to your ovaries, telling them what needs to happen, what phase of your menstrual cycle you're in, what hormones need to be made more of, and what needs to be made less of, so that you can ovulate, you can cycle, you can make a baby if you want to. However, when you are on birth control, or really if you have anything excess in your system, what will happen is that these chemicals can swim around your blood, tickle your little brain and tell your brain, oh, no, we're good. We have enough. You don't have to make more. It's called negative feedback. Essentially, there is so much exogenous, meaning outside of yourself, hormone that you're taking, again, by mouth, implants in your arms, stuck inside of your body, that circulates, it goes to your brain and shuts down the communication between your brain and your ovaries. The communication between your brain and your ovaries is the only reason why you go through these cycles. So I hate having to be the person that tells someone when they reach out to me that they want to balance their hormones while on birth control, that you cannot do that because you're not making hormones. I can't balance your estrogen and your progesterone because you're not cycling. And fun fact, progesterone is nature's chill pill. If your brain is not communicating with your ovaries, then you're not ovulating. So you're not getting the beautiful benefits of progesterone. I want you to have the beautiful benefits of progesterone. Progesterone feels good. So in general, all of our organs are there because they have a very essential function. Your womb, for those of you that have a womb, it is a sacred gift. It is a sacred gift to have this womb. It is your connection to this earth, to the cycles, to the rhythms of this planet. And you are a part of those rhythms. You are cyclical in nature. And if you shut down the communication between your brain and your ovaries, you almost put a veil between yourself and this world, between yourself and the rhythms of this world, and between yourself and your intuition. So I know for myself and for a lot of different individuals that were on birth control for a long time, coming off of it almost feels like that veil is lifted, like a fog is lifted from your body. And you could see the world in a very, very, very different way. There are a lot of risks associated with any hormonal treatment, but absolutely hormonal birth control. Even if you are in a low dose, and if your doctor tells you that it's a low dose, know that there are still many adverse effects and many risks that you are taking in choosing to use this therapy to not get pregnant. And again, if that benefit outweighs the risk, that is all you need to know from here on forward. You've already thought for yourself. You've already chosen this path. However, if you didn't know that there were any risks, and if you had chosen to go on it without this awareness, then know that you might have some thinking to do. First and foremost, you should not be on hormonal birth control if you smoke. Why? Because smoking increases your risk of a blood clot. Guess what else does that? Hormonal birth control. Have you ever looked at the little insert inside of your hormonal birth control? Did you ever see the meme or the reel on Instagram where someone undoes it all, opens it up like a blanket, and lays it over themselves? It's literally that long. It is literally that long. I invite you to read it. So it increases your risk of a blood clot. It hits your liver quite hard. Just so you know, your word liver has the word live in it. It's really, really important. Even though people in our world don't necessarily think that the liver is important because, they just like to load up with toxins, alcohol, some Tylenol, some druggies, some really toxic food, pharmaceuticals. Your liver's got a lot to deal with. But hormonal birth control is pretty hard on the liver. So it can increase your risk for different liver conditions, liver cancer even. Kind of a big deal, right? You might want to know about that. Can also increase your risk of many other health conditions because of not only the inflammation that hormonal birth control causes systemically, but also it leads to many, many, many different nutrient deficiencies, most notably a lot of your B vitamins and some minerals. You need minerals to function. Every single chemical reaction in your body has a cofactor. And a lot of times those cofactors, which essentially just turn the key to the chemical reaction to let it go, a lot of the times those are minerals and you need them. So those of you that are scared of salt, I invite you to get salty. Those of you that are on birth control, you need to be taking minerals. In fact, I would tell you to probably take a prenatal vitamin because not only are you low in minerals, you're low in B vitamins. And one of my least favorite things about birth control is how it made me want to kill myself. Why? Why did it do this? Because birth control depletes vitamin B6. If you're vegan, if you're vegetarian, you might already be low in vitamin B6 because it's really abundant in a lot of animal proteins. However, regardless, if you're on birth control, or a lot of pharmaceuticals do this, but of course this talk is on birth control, yes. So you're depleting vitamin B6. You need B6A for all of these transaminase reactions that are going on in your liver to detoxify. So now you're just building up your toxic bucket. But you also need vitamin B6 to make neurotransmitters like dopamine. We like dopamine. We like it a lot. We don't like when we're not making dopamine because it will make us look for things outside of ourselves for dopamine. And this is actually why birth control is associated with a higher risk of depression and suicide. And if you don't believe me, I invite you to look in the literature. And also just from personal experience, I was a mess on birth control. A fucking mess. And if you were a mess, if you went on birth control and you could feel something shift within you, and if you talked to your doctor about it, and if your doctor told you that there's no way it's the pill, fire your doctor because it is. You put something in, something changed on the other end, right? There's a lot of other things that can show up. Those are some of the really big ones, though. Know that anything that you put in your mouth, it doesn't just stay in your mouth. It circulates and goes everywhere. So you need to ask yourself what impact these different treatments that you're choosing have on your entire body. I see a lot of weight gain on birth control. I see a lot of changes in the immune system on birth control. And know that your hormones that your body is normally making, which again are shut down while you're on birth control because it turns down the communication between your brain and your ovaries, those hormones have actions far outside of the reproductive system. Estrogen is needed to help support the immune system, so you might get sick more easily while you're on birth control. It's also really common for you to have a lot of gut inflammation, leaky gut things come up and whatnot, different chronic infections and overgrowth of yeast. If you went on the pill and you got gnarly yeast infections in your sweet little vagina, no, you don't need to take antibiotics every time you have sex. No, you do not need to take anti-anything when you have sex. The issue is your hormones. Again, a reminder, you can't balance your hormones while you're on birth control because you're not making them. So, I'm so sorry if I ruined your day, but this is what I do. I drop truth bombs, and you get to take those bombs. You get to look at them and say, did I learn something? Do I want to stay or do I want to change? The choice is yours. I'm just here to drop them. So if you want me to drop any more bombs, if you enjoyed this bomb, if you enjoyed learning at all, make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on because I'm going to be dropping shit all the time. Over and out, cuties.